There is no greater legend in British bike racing than one Carl Fogarty, 4 times World Superbike champion, winning 59 races along the way. A master of the brute power of big bikes. Carl ruled the world of superbike racing for close to a decade. But for the one and only, it all started with a break that almost finished his career.
I broke my leg in '86 quite bad, and then broke it bad again in '97 because of '87 because of the '86 injuries sort of thing, and got infected and took a lot of bad bone out, and they weren't keen on me going racing in 1988, and said, you know, one more fall on that leg and you'll probably break again. And you know, I just thought, God, you know, I'm supposed to be world champion. What's going wrong here, you know? So it didn't. You know, I went into that year, and obviously I switched bikes that year anyway. We'd got a big superbike, kind of Honda RC30, which is the best bike to have for that year, really, the only bike to have to race on the road circuit. Really a TT Formula 1 stuff, just before superbike was really boring. And I jumped on this bike, and it just felt comfortable and easy to ride, and I was going fast on it without really trying, and getting results on it without really trying. So, you know, in some ways, you know, it was maybe a blessing in disguise having the injury just to put me on the bigger bike. I don't know, but I rode the bike, I feel, about 80% determination, really, because I was frightened of falling off the thing, and ended up winning a world championship in my first year on it, which was amazing, really.
With World Formula 1 Championship success under his leathers, it was time to move onwards and upwards into the World Superbike Series on the RC30 Honda. Texan Doug Poland was the man to beat a Dunlop-Shaw Ducati Demon on the 888. Superfit Raymond Roche had Michelin's on his Duke. Rob Phillips was on the grid. Fred Merkel was on the old RC30, as was Fogarty.
It was exciting, it really was, because I was, you know, a factory rider for Honda, although it was run through Honda UK, Honda Britain at the time, and you know, it was their first year in World Superbikes, and they didn't really have the budget or the money, and they were learning as well as I was, really. And the bike, obviously, were way past its sell-by date then, really. Ducatis and Kawasaki's and Yamahas were just dominating, so the only thing I could judge myself off, really, was somebody else who was on the same bike, and that happened to be Fred Merkel, who'd won the world title twice the previous couple of years. And you know, I went out and rode hard right throughout the year, usually between, you know, 4th and 10th place, something like that. And I had a good year, and all I could do was try and beat the guy on the same bike, and I did that, really. So it was a pretty successful year on a very uncompetitive bike, really.
Fogarty was consistent with several top 10 finishes and no crashes. Carl, who was riding standard over-the-counter machinery, was already making an impact. His rivals knew his name and reputation.
I was quite well known, you know, before I came by the established stars in Superbike. But you know, when I raced against him, I was wanting to beat him. But like I say, on the machine I was on, it was never going to be possible in no way.
Carl had hindrances due to persistent front suspension problems, but all round there was a feeling of satisfaction.
I was 7th, I think, in the championship, and Merkel was, I don't know, maybe 9th or something, I don't know. So, and we only did 3/4 of the championship anyway, so, you know, I thought it was a successful year in that respect. But when I come back and race in Britain, I just had nothing but, you know, bad results, really. The way the British Superbike Championship was, it wasn't even called Superbike at that time, it was something else, and it was just allowed anything in, you know, and mainly everyone seemed to be running 1000cc bikes and Nortons and stuff, so I really struggled. I on a bike that just wasn't really down speed against the others in '91. It was just, obviously the handling problems used to have, it made it even worse. So I came back to Britain and never really did anything special, so that didn't help when it came to 1992, to be honest.
World champion Doug Poland was still the man to beat, but would have to work harder for glory this year. David Tardozzi was on factory machinery, but Fogarty's pre-season was hampered.
We've been promised by like a hoax caller, basically, that you know, I've got this money from, I think it was Agip at the time, the fuel company, and you know, I'm going to buy some Ducatis and going to go to World Superbikes and chase that route till probably January, you know, and then it just turned out to be a hoax, and the guy disappeared, and we to this day don't know where he went, you know. So I lost a lot of time through that, really, through time wasters and people trying to rip you off and all sorts of stuff. So it was difficult, really, but no one was really interested in going to World Superbikes. All the British teams want to stay in Britain, which you can understand. So I was panicking a little bit, and I got the World Endurance thing that was signed up. That paid for quite a bit of stuff, and